Hey Tubies, so I feel the past couple days I've been paying attention to certain things, all the crazy chaotic energies flowing through the air and such, and I have had a couple things arise to my attention, not necessarily stated by anybody, but just me feeling things out, and I wanted to do this video and hopefully accomplish, and sorry if I'm speaking kind of slow and stuff, I'm trying to really think this out in the proper way. Basically, okay, so we had our huge movement, Fox News, they were ridiculous, we attacked them, we said our stuff, and yada yada yada. Okay, cool, yay, woo, us. Now that that's all over, in the midst of all that chaos and energy raising and people standing up for themselves and their beliefs and, in our group as a whole, so to speak, there are, I noticed that there were a variety of different people that would seemingly, and it's hard to accuse anybody of anything if you don't actually know that person, and I'm not saying that any of this was, any of these people had malicious intent by any means, but simply for criticizing people for, and even myself, I got a ton of messages for getting my words jumbled up and saying, winter equinox instead of winter solstice, and not, pointing out Wiccanism and things like that. Yes, I made some mistakes in my video, but it was a rant video, I got my point across. I wasn't, worshiping the Bible and quoting any, scripture or anything else. I was simply stating certain facts. Now, that brings me to my point. I got blasted on a blog, which I found humorous, but also through a few other messages from people who were higher up, I guess you would say, that the video I did was uneducated and that it was unfactual and it wasn't really true. Now, that right there upsets me, because people who are absolute bookworms when it comes to Wicca or paganism, especially Wicca. I'm just going to stick to Wicca on this. Wiccans who flat out go out of the book and straight out of the book and practice a form of tradition, a form of traditional Wicca, then yes, there are rules and there are guidelines and there's a certain amount of history that you need to know about that tradition, so on and so forth. If you are solitary and you are eclectic, it states that you do not necessarily practice any sort of traditional Wicca, nor pull from anything else. You pretty much make up your own thing. Now, you can call it Wicca if you are consecrating tools and raising sacred space and energies and cleansing things, and you go by the actual practices of a Wiccan, then yes, you can classify yourself as practicing Wicca. But, Wicca was only just formed in the 50s. Yes, I do know this, by Gerald Gardner. Oh my God. And, the thing is though, paganism itself dates back before the 18th century. I don't necessarily think it was called paganism then, but still, it dates back forever. The shamans, if you're Native American, and it just goes back on and on and on. There was always medicine men and women. There were always people who worshipped the earth or listened to the animals, and they had their totem animals, and they had, they communicated with, the universe, and took care of Mother Earth, and that was their temple. There was no organized religion. So for you people who really, When somebody puts themselves out there to stand up for something that you stand up for as well, and you do nothing but nitpick that person because they didn't state something right, they didn't pronounce something right, they forgot to put in some facts or history. Not all of us have our noses in a book every single day. You know, some of the most brilliant people in the entire world can recite any book, any type of segment from a book, and go on and on and on. They're brilliant. But when it comes to everyday common sense, they have none. None. They probably couldn't even make a freaking sandwich, to be honest. So the point is that, you know, those of you who are all high and mighty and you're in a coven or whatever the case is, or if you practice traditional witchcraft or traditional Wicca, sorry, gotta make sure I say everything right, you're really putting a bad taste in other people's mouths by simply saying that what we practice is not correct nor right. Nobody has the right to tell you, and this is for you newbies, nobody has the right to tell you how to practice your spirituality. Nobody. You relate to Wicca and paganism because of the free-spiritedness, open-mindedness, and the love that it generates. Yes, there is a dark side, and yes, there is a light side, and I do wholeheartedly believe that you have to understand and even have the knowledge of both. You really do. You can't have one without the other, and that is a fact. But you do not have to dabble in the dark, and you don't have to always dabble in the light. You know, you conform your practice to what makes you happy, what speaks to you, what goes to your heart. I say this all the time. You've got to listen to your own intuition. You know, we all have that sixth sense. And, you know, your favorite movie's Practical Magic, okay? And they even say there's a little witch in all of us. Your intuition is innate inside of you. You are born with it. And the only thing that you have to do is find a way to tune into that. And once you do that, it's amazing the freedom that you feel and the experiences that you experience. Now, but if you solely concentrate on opening a book and following it word by word, and if you mess up, laugh at yourself. Don't think the gods are going to strike lightning down upon you and condemn you to, you know, endless karmatic shit, period. It doesn't matter. Laugh at yourself if you make a few mistakes and you're new to it. You know, don't put so much pressure onto it. You know, you're not having anybody grade you. You're doing your own little practice in your own little room, in your own little space. You are in control of the energy that you surround yourself with. And if you constantly worry about what other people are going to think about you, you're never going to advance. So I'm not trying to criticize anybody else who's higher or better than anybody else. You know, me, myself, I don't claim to be better than anybody. I never have, and I've said this several times, and I never will. I simply share my knowledge and my experiences because I feel like there are others out there who can possibly relate. You know, sometimes I read a book and it's Spanglish. I have no idea what the hell they're saying. I just can't connect with that author. But then there are times that I fully connect and it's like, God, they're picking my brain. You know, how did they know? And that's how I feel like when I do my videos or my instructions or my broadcasts or put myself on Facebook or whatever the case is. You know, I'm trying to show you people that, you know, this is the way I live my life. It's not a phase. I'm, you know, not a bookworm. I'm not perfect. I can't name every, Wiccan historian date by date. You know, I can barely do that in a history book. You know, I know certain things and I know what I know and that's it. You know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. And it's just so important to not allow others to bring you down. And those of you who get me know that I have a grand sense of humor. You know, you haters out there, hate all you want. You know, I think it's funny, and I just kind of laugh at it because, you know you're doing something right when people hate on you, period. But I am solely speaking genuinely from the heart. I am out here to help guide or inspire anybody who connects with me. If you don't connect with me, move on and go find somebody who you do connect with, or make your own practice. Do your own thing. Stand on your own soapbox and Preach your own word, but don't go out and criticize other people because they do not think on the same plane or walk on the same plane that you do. You know, everybody wears these coexist patches and stickers and they want tolerance and all that. But what I experienced the past couple days is that there was little tolerance, even for the same people who are like-minded and have the same beliefs. They still attacked other people. What sort of example is that setting for the people who are new and coming up from under us? Not saying below or under. I'm talking about the newbies, you know, the 14, 15, 13, 12, 9, 8, my daughter, you know, that generation, the younger generation. What kind of example are we setting for them when you're criticizing people who are doing nothing but preaching love and support and guidance and trying to make things clear? You know, just like every teacher in the world, in every school, each teacher has a different method of teaching. The curriculum is the same, and they might have some variations to it, but they teach differently. And that's where I'm coming from. You know, the curriculum I have is simply from certain books and my life experiences and my innate empathy and my just all the experiences from several lives, flat out. So, you know, you may not agree. Just agree to disagree. You know, I've never slammed anybody for them pronouncing something wrong or saying something. I was like, you go with it. And, you know, maybe it's something that connects with them. But quit the bashing. And those of you out there who are young and you're really wanting to come out and you really want to connect and you really want to use that book that you just bought, or use that pendulum that you just bought, or the smudge stick, or whatever it is, you know, get an idea of what you're supposed to do with it and try it, use it, see how it works for you. But just because something doesn't work out exactly like it is in a book doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. If it feels good to you and you get answers and you get results, that's all you need to know. Practice love, no harm, protect yourself, and, you know, practice what you preach. If everybody wants to be, you know, tolerated and practice tolerance and coexistence, then let's do so. You know, don't just talk the talk, also walk the walk. That's all I got to say. So I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.